Well, hi there, it's Jennifer. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you've come by. I'm here with my BB-8 mug. Now, we're starting this vlog off here in my living room, but we are going to end it in a hotel room. I am checking into a local hotel for the next 5 nights because I am attending Unleash Her Power with Sage and Tony Robbins, and I can hardly believe it. I have always wanted to attend one of these seminars. And so I won't be there in person, obviously, but you can go to these events with Tony Robbins and Sage Robbins live. But they also now provide beautiful ways in which you can attend something that is so life-changing via Zoom. And you actually have to be ready. You have to be camera ready. Like today, I had to register, and I also had to do a tech check-in. But hopefully everything's all going to be well because I did all the tech check-in here at my house and not at the hotel. But you have to basically be prepared for Tony or Sage to call upon you. It is going to be quite the experience. So how I even discovered it, I think I can show this now. It's going to be backwards because I have you facing me, but I don't know if I can show the materials. Honestly, don't know if I'm allowed to. But anyway, in here there is the famous board that I guess at some point we're gonna karate chop this. I think they do also, like, you can walk through fire like at the end of the seminars. It's traditional, so I hope that goes well. But then I have a book. I have just like a camera etiquette guidelines, and so I've got all of my materials. And you know how I even discovered Tony Robbins? It was years ago. I was watching Oprah, and I think she had on just some of her favorite people, or people that had made a great impact on her life. Because I want to say that Gary Zukav was also one of her guests. And what I do remember about the video, because this was so long ago, excuse me, was that she was up on a stage. And then at one point she had this man, Tony Robbins, come on the stage. And he was just this big guy, and I had never seen him before. And if you know Tony Robbins, then you know the way Tony Robbins is. If you don't know the way Tony Robbins is, he captures your attention because of his very distinctive and unique presentation, and the way that he engages an audience is quite masterful. Well, anyway, and I remember him coming on and thinking, who on earth is Tony Robbins? Oprah had attended one of his seminars, and she had so many incredible things to say about it. It was very powerful for her. So she had him come to her audience on the stage, and he's a big guy. He's like 6'6", I think. And he walked out in his booming way, and he was like, you know, just starting to do his the way he engages. He just has a very distinctive way in which he engages a crowd. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He's really, really fascinating to listen to. I mean, he's worked with world leaders, national leaders, actors, sports players, homemakers, you name it, all kinds of people. His programs are made for anybody. You don't have to be a national leader. You could be a homemaker like myself, which is really pretty amazing. But anyway, he came on there, and I remember him saying, now he's talking to the crowd. He's like, now I might be a different flavor than what you're used to seeing on the Oprah show or with Oprah. I might be a different flavor. And that just kind of stuck out at me. And I'm like, who is this guy? Well, that began my journey of discovering who Tony Robbins is and was. And I have watched and listened to many, many of his talks and interviews. And he is very gifted at what he does in helping people make changes that are long-lasting, life-impacting, and he really knows how to get to the root of issues. He's also very famous for helping people financially and with their business and finances and all that type of thing. So really, like, quite the scope. And I've always wanted to, my hairstylist, now I color my hair at home, but my haircut is done by, so I come to you from Anchorage, Alaska, if you've never seen one of my videos before. And there is a salon here in town called You Beauty and Med Spa. And that's where I go. I see the owner. She cuts my hair. Her business has become like one of the top 200 salons last year. When I first met her, she was in this tiny little salon space up above, you know, leasing. And now she has a med spa. And her business is huge and it's really amazing. She's gone to a lot of, like via Zoom, which is what I'm doing, Tony Robbins events for business. And I think she just did one for relationships too. I'm here in Anchorage, Alaska. The event is going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6 a.m. my time to 6 p.m. A 12-hour experience. Of course, I'm sure there'll be like, you know, lunch and breaks. I mean, I really have no idea what to expect, but what I did know was that I needed to get out of my home, and that way too my family doesn't have to worry about not disturbing me. And then also what they do encourage is that because this experience is so immersive and it's also very powerful, it's very emotional, they suggest that you get to a place where you don't have any inhibitions, basically, like, you know. And also too, the model for Unleash Her Power Within is dealing with the deeper parts of ourselves. It's our patterns and our decisions and why we struggle between the two. It's our identity and our limiting beliefs, empowering beliefs. So it is a very personal experience, and in order to get the breakthrough, you have to be able to be in a place where you can go there and not worry about dishes in the sink, or, you know, your family needs to come in and work in the kitchen, or you've got animals or something like that. And my salon owner that I told you about, who attends some of these conferences, like, she'll go to a friend's house and like, so they have their own space where they can do it. That's why I got the hotel room. And it has it's like a little suite. It's very simple, but it has an oven, a refrigerator, microwave, sink, basically everything I'm gonna need. So I am also going to launch, maybe before this video, I did a whole food prepping day. And in fact, once I'm done with this interaction, my big job is to gather everything, start packing it and loading it in the truck. It's probably close to 5 p.m. my time. So I've got to get myself together, go get checked in, get set up, and then get the room organized, because I will be up bright and early at 4 a.m. I've got all my food prepped, which I did yesterday, and I'm going to stock that place out. And then I'll have the privacy where I can fully engage in the program. And then what I'm going to do is I will check in. And I think what I'll do is I'll end up releasing this, I said, like, I'm a new YouTuber of 2 months. And I'm like, I'm going to release the series. Like, it's so professional. I'm going to release this Unleash Her Power series probably next week, because I'm having nose surgery. So that'll be a great thing to have up on my channel for anybody who may want to watch it. But I'm gonna check in the evenings and just give a quick rundown of like what the experience was for me. You know, of course I can't film any of the event or do anything like that at all, but so I look forward to that. And then I plan to do a post experience, which will be really incredible. And how this even happened too. So not only, you know, just to add to it really quick, how I finally did step into this dream of wanting to attend one of these seminars was several months ago. I was on Facebook, and I follow a White Raven, and there's a White Raven Facebook page. So I'm always on Facebook, keeping up with the local information about the Ravens and White Ravens and where they may be. And I saw that there was an advertisement for Sage Robbins, and she was doing something called a Woman's Summit. And it was really inexpensive. It was $37 American. And it was a 3-hour like live, so you had to be camera ready, live Zoom. You're on the Zoom stage live event for women. It was 3 hours long, and then after that you would have the option to go into a breakout room with a random group of 5 people and then talk about what you learned and share experiences and things. And I had seen it a couple of times, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I have time. And that's always something for me is, you know, I think we can be really good, and I am guilty of this, of throwing myself into something and then not necessarily broadening out and making sure I am nurturing all the aspects of my life. And I'd seen the advertisement and I put it off, and I'd seen it again and I put it off. Well, finally, the night before the advertisement, I was like, it's only $37. Like, why don't I just sign up? And so I did. And I want to tell you something. It ended up being like a 6.5 hour event. And it was the best $37 I have ever spent. Tony Robbins was there. In fact, his seminar, what I really loved is, and they had Serena Williams. They have a lady, her name's KK, who works exclusively and intricately with the Tony Robbins team, and she was teaching as well. There were many famous people that were being interviewed during that seminar time, and very, very powerful. Like, in fact, the Serena Williams, when I first started my YouTube channel, I talk about her in my third video, which was perseverance, because she was like, you know, tell your brain, because she's a tennis player, tennis Olympian, gold medal Olympian, and she's like, tell yourself things are going to be hard, and if you already let your brain know that something is going to be difficult, you will be better prepared when things get difficult, which I loved that. That stuck with me. And also, too, getting to spend time with Sage Robbins. She is the warmest. I mean, her warmth, just like you can feel it through the screen. And her words are just so generous and uplifting and powerful and kind. And it was just so amazing. And of course, there are different people that are sharing personal experiences and things of that nature. Then Tony Robbins came on to that seminar, and then he and Sage Robbins answered questions. And this one thing to me stuck with marriage. So I've been with my husband almost 34 years, and you know, to keep a great marriage takes a lot of hard work. It's like you got to roll your sleeves up, but anything worth having is worth the work. And it does take work. And if any of you are there and you've been married any amount of time, you know this to be true. And because we love it so much, we should be willing to be on top of things and to work, because that's what it takes. And his advice to people who have been married, or maybe you're not married, but you've been in a relationship for decades, and his advice was, and this stuck with me, he's like, the way you keep things fresh is, he's like, you get curious. Get curious about your spouse, because we can have a tendency to nitpick and nag. And I could say for myself, I'm always like tidying, and I like different things, and you know, the brain's always working, and you want to tell your spouse sometimes things that they can do that you know would help them, or you think you know would help them, and you always want to help them. Well, sometimes that can just come across as nagging. As I have learned, like sometimes I'm like, well, I'm just trying to help or be an encouragement, but it doesn't always translate that way. You know, isn't that the way it is with relationships? Like, you may have an intention, but it's not being received that way. But anyway, his advice was, get curious. The way that you keep things fresh when you've been together for decades is get curious with who they are now. And one of my favorite preachers to listen to is Bishop T.D. Jakes. And, you know, he talks about that, the miracle of marriage. And he's like, how is it that when I got married, you know, when he's talking about his wife, in my 20s, and now we're in our 60s, and she's still the perfect woman for me. You know, basically, the miracle of marriage is that when you start off here, we're always growing and evolving and growing and evolving. And yeah, there's essence of that same person, but we change and develop so much. And so we're always growing and developing. And he's like, get curious where your spouse is right now. interested, keep curious, and that will keep things fresh for you. And that stuck with me from that $37 seminar. Serena Williams, Sage Robbins, and all of the, she just is such a beautiful soul. Tony Robbins. And then he said too, he's like, and also treat your spouse like you're newly in love. He's like, and he's just such this huge guy. And he's like, remember when you were first in your relationship and your partner asked you to take out the trash? He's like, do a ballerina twirl. He's like, anything, honey, I'll do anything for you. You want the trash taken out? Sure. But we can lose that. And that was also his advice too, was like, treat your partner / spouse like you are newly in love, and like have that mindset, train your mind. For $37, I'm like, oh, I love that. And like sometimes these could be things but it's like at the right time, and when somebody says something in a certain way, and it's the way that they deliver it and the way that they say it, it sticks with you, which is why it's good to be listening to a lot of different people on a lot of different topics, because you and I will learn a thing or two. After that seminar, it was so incredible. And then they're like, hey, you know what? We've got this Unleash Her Power. If you sign up now, you get a discount because you were part of this summit. And I thought, I was so moved. It was so good. And that was just like a 6-hour experience. I cannot imagine 4 solid days, 12 hours. Well, there's probably lunch, but it'll be a lot. And I was like, you know what? Yes. And I even love the title, Unleash Her Power Within, or Tony Robbins' famous Unleash the Power Within. And I think, all of us, we are going through this life, and none of us get through life unscathed. And also this life, it's like you could be, I just think of like road torn, sometimes too, it may not necessarily be like maybe anything massive has happened to you, but just maybe your own doubts or insecurities start to creep in for whatever particular reason. And, we're all going through life. We all have unexpected experiences. We all are just simply experiencing this life, which, it's the good, the bad, and the middle, and the way that it impacts us. And also, depending on where we are in life at the time, also depends on how situations impact us. We can have deeper issues, and they don't have to be necessarily horrible, terrible issues, but basically issues that hold us back. It either holds us back or prevents us from allowing something in that will be so beneficial to taking each of us to the next level. Okay, we are 20 minutes in. I am going to eat. I am going to pack. I'm going to load my truck, and then I'm going to get to the hotel, get checked in. Once I get everything in, I will go ahead and jump back in, and we'll go from there. All right. I'll see you very, very soon. Well, all right. I am finally in my hotel room, and we are going to begin the process of getting everything situated and settled in. It's really dark. I've got to figure out all the lights. I'll show you what I've got here. Here is all of the things for a 5-night stay. I've got all my food and my food prep, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting unpacked. I am finally settled in. I've got everything put away. I've got all of my toiletries set up, and I also ended up breaking into the chippies. I just had to. Yep, so I've got everything ready to go. The only thing that I am remembering is this particular selfie stick that I have does not tip vertical, it's just horizontal, and zoom is vertical. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a few moments and figure out how I'm going to prop up my phone, because I'm not using a computer for this conference. I'm only using my phone. So I've got to figure that out. I'm also starting to watch on Netflix, which I watched this when it first came out. It's on Netflix. It's called Tony Robbins, I'm Not Your Guru. And so I'm rewatching it again, just kind of getting ready for tomorrow. I've got to figure out the coffee machine. It's a little, I'm unfamiliar with it. I might maybe brew a cup of decaf and see what I can do, figure out how to use it, because the coffee will be very, very important. But I'm all set up. I'll show you. Now, of course, I just have the bed pulled back right now, but one of the great things about traveling local is you get to bring your favorite pillows. And I always sleep with a fan, and this thing is really loud, which is good because I am on a bottom floor. Look at those things. Yum. But yeah, so this is where I'm gonna set up to have the conference, and I've got my notebook, got all my goodies in here, and I just received an email from the Tony Robbins team. And look at that, got some goodies. Actually, I haven't even looked in here yet to see. Oh, bottled waters, and what's this? Ooh, more chips. Yum. What else do we have in here? Oh, looks like more goodies. I am definitely ready, though, to get settled in, but I've got kind of everything put away. I pulled out, I had some snacks, I've got my gum, I've got it, this coffee pot is kind of weird. I thought it was like the Keurig kind, so I brought, actually brought one of these guys. Because sometimes I find like this coffee, sometimes these servings aren't enough. I need like my powerful coffee. So I've got to figure this thing out before tomorrow morning. I've got my tomatoes, and I also need to figure out all the pans and the stove. Hopefully it'll be easy. All my prepared foods. I've got all my different meals. I'm going to do eggs and bacon in the morning with my coffee, maybe a little veg as well. But I'm kind of thinking about maybe getting up at 4 tomorrow. I'm almost afraid it's not going to be enough time, because the conference starts at 6. But you know how it is when you travel and you're in a place that's unfamiliar. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to get up at 3:45 just to make sure. So I am going to sign off for now, and then I will be checking in. I will be checking in each evening. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 4 separate check-in videos. Maybe I'll do like a quick jump in the morning, tell you how I'm feeling. And yeah, I'm really excited. It's gonna be pretty interesting, but you should, if you've never watched the Tony Robbins I'm Not Your Guru on Netflix, it's a very interesting watch. And you know, like I said, he's such a unique and incredible person, and he is somebody who had a really, really, really rough upbringing, and his story is one of overcoming, and he is very passionate about helping others do that. And his wonderful wife Sage Robbins has been by his side for years. And my alarm is going off right now on my phone. This is my personal phone. So anyway, I can hear people out in the hallway too, so I'm trying not to be too loud. So I'm in like the little bathroom area, but I will sign off for now. And I hope that you have a wonderful morning or afternoon or evening, and thank you for coming by this video. All right, bye.